So, DICE just dropped a trailer for the next 5 specialists that will be available at launch for Battlefield 2042. They've also released footage of the updated gameplay for Battlefield 2042 showing the latest improvements for the UI, as well as other fixes from the beta. This is Louis, and welcome to Unsolicited Opinions. We are introduced to a new set of specialists that will be available upon the release of Battlefield 2042, giving us a total of 10 specialists at launch, including McKay, Boris, Falk, Casper, and Irish. For the newest specialists, we'll start with Rao, who is a recon class specialist and uses hacking to his advantage. He has a skill called Trojan Network, where he targets an enemy, and upon killing that enemy, the UI will highlight other enemy players nearby. I'm not sure how I feel about this. It can get pretty wall hacky, but since it's a risk-reward system, I think it's gonna be fine. He also has a cyber warfare suite as his trait, wherein he can hack different elements in the map to his and his team's advantage, shown here, hacking a barrier and then closing it on an enemy vehicle for that cheeky kill. Reminds me kind of like Watch Dogs in a way, and can prove pretty useful depending on how DICE implements elements that are affected by this on the map. Next up, we have Santiago Dozer Espinoza, an assault class specialist. He has a blast resistant trait, which means he takes less damage and recovers faster from explosive damage. He also comes with a ballistic shield as his gadget, which, as its name suggests, is able to protect Dozer from incoming enemy small arms fire, while also seeming to deflect bullets back to the person that was firing at them. This combination of trait and gadget worries me a little bit, because it seems OP. You won't be able to take him down as easily with grenades, while also having to worry about getting damaged by your own bullets when you fire at him. We'll see if DICE can make him more balanced, or how this is actually being implemented before we pass final judgment. Up next, we have Emma Sundance Rosier, who we have seen in the trailers before, but hasn't really shown her face up until now. She's an assault class specialist and comes with her already famous wingsuit, as we've all seen in the reveal trailer, and all other trailers following that, allowing her to traverse great distances across the map. As for her gadget, she comes with her smart grenades, which come in 3 varieties that you can choose from on the fly, being anti-armor, EMP, and scatter grenades. We see her using the scatter grenades here as she uses it on a group of enemies, and then switching it up to anti-armor grenades to take down an already weakened enemy helicopter. Hopefully there's a range limit to the homing capabilities of that grenade, but so far she seems like a really good specialist to play as it looks like her skill set is really versatile. We have Ji-Soo Pike from South Korea up next, and she is a recon class specialist. She comes with a threat perception trait, which allows her to automatically spot enemies that do damage to her. Kind of like a reverse of the Battlefield 5 sniper role perk from the recon class, where you automatically spot any enemy you damage for a duration. No issues with this trait, as this still requires alertness in dealing with the threat before you get taken down. What I do take issue with though is her gadget, which is the EMG-X scanner, which is basically wall hacks. Yep, you heard it right. Wall hacks in Battlefield. It seems to only affect a small radius around her though, however I don't think a lot of people will like this still. Some may argue, oh, what about spotting flares from Battlefield 1 and 5? And to that I say, those gadgets don't let you see through walls per se, they only give you an idea of where the enemy will be on the map instead of direct visual feedback on where they actually are. I wonder how DICE can make this a balanced gadget. Perhaps a long recharge or short duration? Not sure, so tell me your ideas in the comments. And lastly, for our specialists, we have Constantin Angel Angel from Romania, who is a sport class specialist. He comes with a Trauma Specialist trait, which allows him to revive down teammates faster, while also giving them full armor, so actually quite a useful trait. And for his Specialist gadget, he comes with the Loadout Crate, which allows him to call in a Loadout Crate drop that allows you to change your loadout to the ones you already have saved, while also providing full armor and ammo. This can be a very versatile specialist, especially in Breakthrough, where those loadout changes can spell the difference between victory and defeat for an attacker, as you don't have to redeploy or get killed and go to the deploy screen or cost your team a ticket in order to adapt to the changing battle. This is actually an interesting mechanic and one I'm excited to see implemented come launch time. Moving on to the improvements made, DICE has explained that some UI elements that were missing from the beta are now present. A frustration I personally had from the beta was the lack of access to the big map overview. DICE said that they disabled this for the beta but will make a return upon release, which is good news as this was an essential gameplay element. Just like before, you'll be able to pull up the map anytime during live gameplay. Another UI element missing from the beta is the Comoros, an essential tool for communicating with your team in Battlefield. It makes a return to the release of 2042, but now appears more rectangular and with more choices for comms. I hope it won't be too difficult to navigate through these during gameplay, but we'll just have to wait until release to know for sure. For the HUD itself, they've made a lot of improvements that I suggested during my previous video about the beta. Link in the description if you want to check that out, including intrusive and overwhelming information popping up on screen. DICE has remedied this to a degree by making critical alert messaging, as they've called it, more transparent so that it won't obscure your view as much. The kill log is now more understandable as the name colors now differentiate between friendly and enemy players, though I do miss its old placement in the upper right as opposed to just above the minimap down on the left. The score feed is back and now presents more information as compared to the beta, showing up under the crosshair now, as is tradition, compared to on the right during beta. It now updates with resupplies, objective captures, and other team play events. Still disappointed that they removed hit counters though. I understand that they lessen the impact kills does for your score, but I'm not sure removing the enemy hit score is a good move. Up next, we have improvements to the plus system and improvements done for attachments. We see that we will be able to choose which attachments we want to bring to the plus menu, which I also discussed in my previous video, and I am excited to see this get implemented. Also, there's more feedback and indication on what stats the attachment you choose will add to or remove from your current setup, which is a huge help because during beta you didn't really get any visual feedback aside from the slider going up and down, not really giving you an idea right away if it made your weapon better or worse. And you'll also be able to fully customize loadouts you want and rename them as you please to allow you to switch between them with ease. Insertion, or the start of matches, are now going to be a bit more cinematic, reminiscent of Battlefield 1's Operations game mode for me, wherein you're shown a short intro with narration about the battle you're going to as an operator explains the map and some background story. This adds a good layer of world building for Battlefield 2042 as there is no single player campaign to provide that. You are then shown getting dropped via helicopter and seamlessly transitions into gameplay. This is a really good addition and was something I really liked about Battlefield 5's Airborne game mode wherein you drop in via parachute into the battles. End of round is also now more satisfying as Best Squad screen is back. It also shows top performers for the match, which includes kills and objective captures, which I really appreciate as kills don't really win most games in Battlefield, and it's good to show that it's not the only thing players should strive for. Other changes DICE have made is the slowing of health regeneration when out of combat, Falk's self-heal with the Surette pistol is now faster, and the Surette pistol now magnetizes its darts towards allied players, which is a good system, as you don't want to have to aim accurately at a teammate in order to give them health. DICE also says they will be adding a tint to enemy players for better identification and an icon that will appear on an enemy within 10 meters of you that isn't obstructed by environmental objects, which was a massive problem for the beta. Not sure how the tint can help, but we'll see when we get into the game. They similarly will allow icons for teammates within 40 meters to remain visible even through walls. Aim assist on console has now been strengthened, as DICE says players have been giving them feedback that it was too low. Personally, I didn't really notice, but I'm curious to see this change. And Battlefield 2042 now allows text chat for console players, which allows them better communication similar to PC players, as cross-gen and cross-platform is being given more of an emphasis this time around. So that's it for the latest updates from DICE, and after learning all of this, I've gotten a bit more optimistic about the game. The bugs and glitches I saw during beta still put me off a bit, but I'm glad to see the changes that they have made to overall gameplay. But what are your thoughts on these changes? Do you think DICE needs more time to develop the game? What changes did you want to see implemented? Let's talk about it in the comments below. This has been Louie, and thanks again for watching.